Hello and good evening from Germany. This is Jonathan Quayle Higgins III. After a long time of absence, I thought that I'm doing a live stream. Happy New Year to everyone for 2020. I hope that the new year brings you health and enjoyment and memorable experiences. Yeah, I've watched a couple of shows, and I'm gonna address some of the previous year's happenings, and I'm gonna try to address some of the propaganda that is about Patek Philippe. Not that I really hate the brand. I think it has great history. It has great merits. I totally respect them for treasuring the handcrafted section at times where nobody really wanted them. And they make cool watches, but some of the narrative, in my opinion, is a little bit overblown, and I'm trying to put some things into perspective today. Now, another topic of today, and that was my teaser topic, was CB asked me in a super chat to figure out a watch collection, a three-piece watch collection for 2,000 US dollars, which I thought was a very interesting exercise. It came totally unprepared, and my fellow panelists were a little bit puzzled that I didn't have a random suggestion out of my head. This is mainly because of how I'm structured, and I had to improvise a little bit. And today I'm joined by my good friend Thomas Burnett. Hello, Thomas. How are you?
Hi there, Jonathan. How are you doing? How's everyone? I'm sorry if I've got a cold here. My voice is all bunged up. I've been in bed and
Oh, shit.
yeah, it's hard times over here at the moment in the
Mm.
UK.
Are you
And
wearing headphones, Thomas?
yes,
Okay, so I'm removing the echo cancellation and tune up your microphone a little bit. So then
oh, good, good,
it
good.
should be a little bit. So yeah, that sucks. But I guess that this is the time of the year that that those things happen. And
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, I'm suffering from a cough since November. Actually, it doesn't really go away. I don't know what is going on. That is probably the aftermath of COVID that I caught in June.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not
So
good.
so thanks for holding my hand, for hopping on the
Oh,
panel.
yeah, yeah.
I really appreciate it when it's getting too much. Just hop off or give me a sign. But I appreciate your input. Now, JL is asking, wasn't it 2,000 each? If I remember correctly, and I was trying to find that super chat, but I couldn't. It was a watch collection for 2,000, and that will be my framing or my narrative after we are picking pieces for under 2,000, because I thought that this question had more than just picking up watches that we appreciate. But let's begin with this question. So your three-piece watch collection under 2,000, and the first question that I was asking myself, okay, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You know that, Thomas. And I thought so. Three watches, 2,000 means 666.6 US dollars per watch. So, do I pick three watches in that price bracket, or am I going all in with one watch and then just subsidize everything else with swatch watches? That was the strategy that I was going on because I found that more interesting than
I,
spreading the budget evenly.
I think most of us would end up doing that, wouldn't we? So, go for a fairly decent watch and then subsidised for Swatch watches, or Casios, but
Yep.
there aren't that many. You find that a lot of the good watches are just a little bit over £2,000 or $2,000. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, indeed, indeed. That's also a dilemma. That 2000 is a difficult thing, but let's stick for a second with the $2,000 bracket. And you made some suggestions early in a private conversation that you had. And interestingly, you picked up a German watch, which of course finds my approval. You chose the Nomos Tangente Boje limited edition.
This was one of the Tangente 175th anniversary watches. It was one of my watches. Not this particular colour. It came in 31 colours, or colour for every day of the month. And this was 175th anniversary year watch. These 31 colours were to celebrate 175 anniversary years of watchmaking Tassuta. Yeah, these were one of my series of watches of the year, to be honest with you. They blew my mind away at Watches and Wonders last year. And when I saw them all laid out on the table, all 31 colours, they were absolutely astounding.
Just because of the color combinations that they presented.
Just because of the different color combinations that they had. They're absolutely amazing. And to try them on and see the different colors, they're lovely. Some people don't like the sharp lugs on them. They think they're a bit too pointy, the sharp lugs. But I don't mind them. I really like them. And they sold out online immediately.
Yep.
And they were selling for £1,900 ish, and now down to they're in the sale, in the winter sale, to £1,600 ish. So so that's about 1,000. I don't know. They're probably going for the same price in dollars in the US. So probably for about $1,700 in the sale.
And they offer amazing quality.
Yeah, it's a DW4101 hand-wound movement, which is a great movement. It's a hand-wound caliber that they're using, and it's a lovely little watch. 175th anniversary. You didn't come along often, and it's just a lovely little watch there.
Yeah, so Nomos is a fantastic brand. I keep on saying they offer incredible value for money when you're going for new watches. This movement is their in-house movement. They changed a lot from the previous generation, but the architecture is still a Peso ETA 7001, but it's totally made in-house now at Nomos. Talking about the Tangente that you recommended, here is another Tangente owner, Muhammad Ali. I think he has the blue gold variant.
Happy New Year, Muhammad Ali.
Happy New Year, Mohammed. All the best to you, and may the new year bring you finally that Aquanaut that you want. So let's see who else is in the comments. I've seen Mathis here. Great pleasure for us meeting Mathis in Miami last year. We had such an enjoyable day and a nice lunch at the Cheesecake Factory, which resulted in problems for me because I couldn't eat anything for 3 days after I had a big chunk of cheesecake. But it was a super enjoyable day. And let us welcome Dodger as well here on the panel. Hey, Dodger.
Hi guys. Hi Thomas. Hi Jonathan.
Hi, David.
My thoughts just before the show, I was thinking the people that should really join is Thomas, T and Tickers, and Kareem. You know, if Kareem is around as well, because I mean, with Thomas and T and Tickers and Kareem, I think you'd have a great group of people to sort of talk around this subject at this sort of price point. A lot of knowledge, a lot of knowledge.
Yep. So we have Rich Mitch here in the comments saying 3,000, no, 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 2,000, no, no, no. I replied, yes, yes, yes. So Dodger says, hello, JL, a very rare guest here on the streams.
Great to see you, JL. Great to see you in the chat, my friend. Good to
Yeah,
see
and
you.
the warning, the JL warning, everybody behave. There is a new sheriff in town. JL has a wrench. So be careful. I have an echo here. Maybe it's Dodger. Not sure.
I'll check. Yeah, it might be me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a newbie mistake. Oh, hang on. No, not me.
Okay.
Not me.
No problem. So
Oh, it
JL
might
says
be.
hello to Dodger and to Rich. Hopefully JL comes over to Europe to meet us. Higgy and Jamie. You can meet me, but Jamie, that Anglo-Saxon cunt, I would be very careful with it.
Oh, Jonathan!
Oh, sorry.
That's
Sorry.
a bit severe.
I'm on
It's a
my
proper
own
watch
channel.
day. Hey, look! You're not on the hate channels now. This is proper. We're doing proper watch and talk today.
Damn.
Whoa.
Damn, we have a sophisticated audience here. So, oh my
Yes,
God.
yes.
Yeah,
We'll
so,
keep this. Yeah, let's just
we keep it
focus.
Okay, so
Yeah.
my
Really focus.
Anglo-Saxon friend Jamie is always a treat to meet. How's that?
That's fun. That's just absolutely perfect.
Okay, good. So yes, Dr. Bob's Nightmare is here. T and Tickers and Reggie, his recommendation, and good to see you. I haven't seen you before. I hope you behave. Apes is here in the house. Yo, great to see Thomas and Dodger on the panel. Apes, there is no Mont Blanc carbon
Apes is,
pen for you.
and Apes, it's good to see you unbanned and with a wrench here on this channel.
Yeah.
Actually, I was going through the wrenches and I saw Apes has a wrench and he keeps the wrench. Muhammad Ali, Jamie is the best. Yeah, it was fantastic meeting Jamie and family again in November, and hope that we all meet together this year somewhere. Okay, Thomas, you recommended a different watch, so you became a big fan of German watches because your recommendation here was another German watch, which is a Dornblüt and Sohn caliber 99 watch.
Yeah, I saw this advertised. I looked up Dornblüt for sale on the internet and on Google, and this came up at £1,750. Now, there's no way that this is going for £1,750 now, because all the Dornblüt 99.0s or 99.9s are going for about £6,000 now. So there's no chance you could get a Dornblüt at under £2,000 now.
So if you can get one for that money, I think it's a no-brainer. Beautiful movement finishing. It's have a look at the chatons here. It is not Moritz Grossmann, but it's very similar, and this is a fantastic watch. Yeah. So I think that is the pick of the evening.
Is that a Unitas movement?
They are all based on Unitas. Even Moritz Grossmann is based on Unitas.
Okay.
So that is all the architecture here with the balance wheel here on that position, and then those two ratchet and crown wheels on top, and it varies a little bit. But that is the general layout, and apparently they're all or more or less all based on Unitas. I had a conversation with Moritz Grossmann, and hesitantly they kind of admitted that the base architecture means the position of the drillings on the main plate is the same, just like with Unitas.
Well, I can think of a Seiko 3-piece, which would be an easy one. If you want me to, if I'm allowed to tell you that.
Please.
And we
So
talk about prices as well to see if it fits the criteria, if we can fit
yeah,
the free. And
so
I mean, what sort of money are we looking at for this piece?
for this piece, we're looking €6,000. So it's
Well,
out
it's
of
outside.
bracket.
That's outside of where we are, isn't it? We're into the
Outside of the
2000s
budget.
here, I'm
Yeah,
afraid.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I was
the
going to
same.
say that looks like one hell of a watch from the 2000.
Yep.
So a Seiko three-piece I thought of would be the olive dial Seiko Willard, which would
Mm.
be about $1,000, and
Yeah, one
then
sec. Seiko Willard. Or do you have it prepared now? So I'm gonna pull it up. Here, first class. Why do I see first class watch and not there? Okay, so here we have the Willard.
could
They
even
offer
get it on the
10% discount. Okay.
even get it on the rubber strap for less than that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then the Seiko. So that's about how much is that going for?
Around 500, I would say. Is that correct?
No, it should be about 1,000.
Okay.
Should be
Okay.
about
There is no
1,000.
price indicated. So okay.
Okay, so that should be about 1,000.
Mhm.
Then the Seiko Prospect Speed Timer Pogue Solar.
Poke speed timer. That is Mike the Snake's favorite watch, isn't it?
No, his is the original Pogue.
The
not
original
the-
Poke, yes.
I'm talking about the solar
Mhm.
solar powered one, which came out last year.
Is it that one?
That one, yeah.
Mhm.
So that's
So that is
what-
920 euros, but 15% off. Thomas?
Yeah, is that €920?
Mhm.
Wow. £660. That's one piece. That's €920. So that's. And then I was gonna say for a cheaper dress watch would be the Seiko Passage Cocktail Time.
That is with the porcelain dial, correct? And we have Patel on the mute after the cinema visit, flexing the perpetual calendar Patek.
Flexing the 5320.
Sorry, I was distracted for a second, Thomas. What was your third choice? Seiko Presage.
Seiko Passage Cocktail Time.
With white or with black dial?
With this, there's one called the skydiving.
That is slightly blue, isn't it?
Yeah, slightly blue.
1 second. Is it... 1 second. I have to kick Patel for a second from the screen. Is it that one?
Yeah. How much
Okay.
is that one?
So all in with Seiko.
So how much is that one?
That is 410 euros. So probably the same in US dollars.
So
Around
we
400.
did 600, 400, and 900, did we?
Well, you said the Willard is 1,000.
Yeah, the Willard is £1,000. So
400 and 600. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the Poke chronograph was a little bit more expensive. But I think that is still within the budget.
do you think?
Absolutely.
I've gone a bit over, haven't I, really?
No problem. No problem. You can do that, and I think with a little bit of haggling, we're going below. Holmaker says, "I see the title of the episodes at OC away, and indeed, I received a message from him. This is not truly elite, and he's totally right. But wait until I frame the question and where I'm going, because I have some additional thoughts about that." So, Dodger, do you have a
Sorry.
three-piece collection to you?
Oh, right. Yeah. Can you see me trying to share something? Because I'm
No,
really having problems here.
no.
No? Okay. It's not. Okay. Okay.
Whole
Okay.
Milk says, I'd go for Lamari. If you watch the last escapement show, our friend Abdul showed a watch that looks spot on to the Fulamari chronograph, the Mecca Quartz chronograph.
Yeah.
He has it from an I
€67.
think Alibaba seller for 160 euros or something. It is absolutely identical to the Fulamari without the logo, same movement, same dial, everything. So I'm a little bit more careful now with Fulamari. I really appreciate their watches, but apparently they're run off the mill from somewhere in China. We have to dig a little bit further into that. But if you see the last escapement show, Abdul had this watch and it was just mind blowing, wasn't it, Thomas?
Yeah, it was lovely.
Okay, sorry, Dodger, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I'm a bit stuck. I'm gonna have to hop off and hop on because I've tried to share the screen and it's screwed up. But
Mhm.
what I thought, well, do I dive in? Do I start looking at other watches, or do I just be honest and say the one watch really that in my watch collecting journey I'd skipped, but really I would like that fits within the price point is the again like Thomas, it's the it's the Seiko Alpinist with the sunburst green dial.
Alpinist
I'm
green.
gonna you have to drop me back on because unfortunately I made a right mess of
No
hopping
problem.
on
I'm
trying to
happy to
share a
pull that up
screen.
for you if you want.
Yeah, if you
Oops. Now Dodger is gone. 1 second. Let me try to find this. Instagram one and one has a beautiful picture of that. So let's try this one out. I think Dodger is talking about that. I think
Yeah, the
that
Green
that is
Alpine.
around 700, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Dodger, come
on
back.
that one. Yeah,
Okay.
there's some better pictures than that one where you've got a better you've got better light on it. When that dial really gets the
Mm.
light on it in the right kind of way, I mean, it just explodes. It's I don't know if you've got a slightly better picture. I
Here.
did have
Oh,
one,
okay.
but
Yeah, those are all a little bit dark and moody. I agree with you.
yeah, it doesn't really do it justice. But I thought, well, what do I do? I felt that it'd be better to sort of be honest and say it's the one that fits in that budget that I really have missed out on, and get other ideas from other people as to what the other two might be. But this this is my most for me. It's my big pick at the price point.
Hmm. Dr. Bob's Nightmare suggests to buy two $40 watches and with the rest buy at least one real watch, which is a good point. And that is one of the strategies that Thomas and I picked in the first place. I was a little bit surprised that my fellow panel colleagues, when that question came up, they said, "Oh, you're cheating. You must. It's cheating to fill up everything then with very cheap watches and go for one $2,000 watch." I thought that it was totally legit.
I think this one that we're looking at is about. I think you can pick them up for 600. Well, I think
Yeah.
even new they're €600.
Mhm.
But I thought, well, I wouldn't do things justice if I got the title of the show, you sent me the link, and I thought, well, do I go off hunting for something just to fill in? No, no, no. I'll pick the one that I know fits in the price point, and I'll try and learn from others,
Mhm.
or people's experience, and see what if I'd add theirs as the other two. If you see what I'm saying.
Mhm. Yeah. So do you have any other watches to suggest, or should I put on in
Yeah, well, typically,
my pick?
Dr. Bob, who I actually did meet in Vegas last year. Great guy. He's talking about the F91W, which is the Casio. I would say everybody has to have a Casio, and the F91W is the classic, isn't it?
Mm.
Now, yeah, I would look in those sort of price points. Yeah, I would choose to have certainly something like a Mudmaster or a Casio as a world timer. Just hyper accurate watch that you can do anything with. You can chop wood, you can go swimming, you can go traveling without worrying about having it stolen.
Mm.
But really, I'm looking to other people to sort of fill in the other two slots for me. I've dropped in, what I like and what I love.
Yeah.
The
So
Alpine.
Kurt,
I'd start with a Casio World Royale for £25 if you want the world timer.
mhm.
So Casio Royale for £25 or probably €30 for the world timer. Then I'd maybe go a Sin 556A.
Sin 556A. Let's have a look at that.
Was it the 356A? Sorry.
1 second. I found a 556A, but their webpage. I'm pretty sure you're talking about this one.
Not the 556A, sorry, the 356A.
Okay, let me try to find that.
Really need some other people to chime in because I'd love to. I'd choose the Alpinist, but then I'll think, well, need a world timer there somewhere, be quartz. But then I'm thinking, well, what do you do if you want to drop in a chrono? Where do you go?
Sorry, Jonathan, the 356A is too much. Sorry, I'd go the Casio Royale, then I'd go haaard 417ES for a chronograph.
haaard
417ES.
417ES.
So that
Where's Kareem when you need Kareem Kebab? Hop on, man. Kareem's the man. He'd fit in the others.
Okay, yeah, that is €2,200. So I would say.
Oh, that takes us over then.
Yeah, we have Luxy here in the in the comments. Luxy, hello. I hope that you're doing well. But that is a fantastic pick, in my opinion.
Yeah, whole milk. I agree. We need tickers as well to chime in on some of this stuff. He got some great input here.
Okay, so my picks, just quick. I would be blowing all my money on one particular watch, very similar to Thomas' pick. I would pick here the Orion, very simple Nomos, as a contrast to the Tangente, because everybody will pick a Tangente. But I'm starting to appreciate
that's
those.
terrible. I'll tell you now. I think it's really terrible. Why? It's just so monochrome, so flat. There's just nothing about it. It's just so.
It's classic.
It reminds.
Classic.
I'm not being rude, Jonathan, and we sort of, but we always tell each other the truth. This reminds me of some clock you just see on a railway station. I mean, really,
Doctor, I was searching for a black dial for this particular size, but they only have a black dial for the 33mm size. So I understand a little bit where you're coming from. The
you understand what I'm saying? It's so monochrome, it's so flat. It's just there's just nothing that goes ping.
Have a look here.
There's no sunburst dial. There's no.
I think that is
warm.
Much
there's
nicer.
No warmth. It's cold. It's cold. It's even in black.
Germans
it's cold.
are cold. We German are cold.
I know. I know.
We don't have feelings. We are robots.
Oh, you are. You're vandals, aren't you? You're vandals.
We have no empathy. We are controlling freaks.
That's really nice. Yeah. I like that black dial.
I'm bored with your stereotypes.
So
yeah,
that would be. Yeah. That would be one.
Yeah, that's where you spend the majority of your money is on that.
Yes.
Okay.
Guilty as charged. Now,
Thomas, what are your thoughts on this piece?
That looks lovely. I really like the black dial.
Okay.
Doctor, eat that. So, an alternative.
Look, you know my skill levels when it comes to this sort of thing. I respect both of your opinions. So,
all good. So, to be a little bit more vibrant, I chose that one here as an alternative. If everybody says, "Oh, Higgins is too German and too boring and too
No. That's
stereotypical,"
better. That's better.
yeah,
Happy watch. Happy watch.
yeah, I really
I
like
like
that color
this.
combination.
Yes. I'm not sure about the white strap though. It's a bit swatchy. It's a
You
bit
can,
swatchy.
you can choose whatever color you
Names have
want,
changed.
and it
Yeah.
also comes with a metal bracelet.
And you can't go wrong. It's like a Tiffany blue, isn't it? You can't go wrong with that.
It's not Tiffany blue actually. It is a little
No,
bit
I
more
know,
ocean.
but I mean, with my glasses on, it could be.
Yeah.
I need
I
to
wouldn't call
clean them
that
actually.
Tiffany blue, and it's gradient. So on the top it's brighter than
Mm.
on the bottom. So I really like
It's
that dial.
sea dweller-esque. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, kind of James Cameron, yeah, but from Seiko.
Mm.
Okay, so
Well, to be honest, Seiko makes some really nice watches. I mean, there's one, two, three of us have chosen a Seiko. Thomas has, I have, and you have. So it says something for Seiko.
Okay, let's go German again. The Zinn was too expensive. The Hanhao was too expensive. Let's try a Stover Flieger Classic 40 Type A.
Flieger Classic
40.
40.
Yeah.
Let's
Type
go there.
A.
Now Georgia will rip you because that is sterile now. One second.
There's one which has got a faux lume dial.
Okay. Let me
Scroll to the bottom of the page. It's got a faux lume dial.
at the
There, you
bottom.
can just go up a bit. You can pick. Is there
You mean that one?
one? Yeah, that one there.
Dodger.
Oh, that's a Type B Flieger.
Yes, I'm here.
No,
How about
Type
that?
A. One of Type A.
So 1 second. Is it that one here?
That's the one. Yeah. So what's the price on that? I think it's 1,050 euros.
1,200, I think. 1 second. 1,250.
Right. Okay, so go with that, and then my chronograph would be a Siegel 1963. That's a classic for about 200 euros.
Seagull
1963
63.
for a cheap.
That one here? No. Seagull
Yeah.
1963, but it says 21 yuan. Just a little bit. Are those the ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that one there, second from the left, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Okay.
not the bronze one. Sheen's just been picking those up, saying they're the best watches under £500.
Okay.
I
don't like the Chinese communist star on it, to be honest.
Don't you? You don't like the Chinese star?
It's a little bit too much
That
Chinese,
one.
in my opinion.
That's nice. That's a nice one.
Okay.
So we spent what?
1,200 plus 300 to 1,500.
Okay, so I would say, have we got enough left for a Citizen Ciosa?
Citizen what?
TSUY.
One second. Citizen?
TSUY.
CSUY?
T for Thomas.
TS. Okay. TSUY.
OSA.
OSA. Okay.
I go for the yellow dial.
1 second. That one here?
Yeah.
That is gorgeous, I must say. That is 300.
Integrated bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's using a Miyota movement.
Yeah. That's really nice. That is really good. So, yes, I've seen some suggestions here. Tudor 1926. Let me check for that. Tudor 1926.
I like Emil Vladimirov's last comment.
1 second.
He fucking shit us.
Yeah, he made previously a comment, pick a job. So I like that one here. Okay, Tudor 1926, also a good suggestion. I think you can get that for 2000. Okay, so what my angle or my thoughts about that question and pick a collection was a little bit different. And I'm going to tell you that I personally, I'm not thinking in categories of collections or which will be a good 3-piece collection or 5-piece or whatever. I'm selecting or I'm making my watch choices based on, okay, I have this kind of money, or very often it is I'm falling into in love with a watch and I don't have enough money for it, and then I'm trying to make it possible to buy this certain watch. But I don't have a pattern. I don't follow a rule. And to be honest, I'm a little bit sick and tired with all those collection reviews that we're seeing online. So, okay, we see here 6 watches with a black dial. Now you need a watch with a white dial or with a silver dial. Or your watch has only dress watches, so-called dress watches, which a term that I don't like because those are watches with leather straps, nothing to do with dresses anymore. Now you need a diver. No, maybe I don't like a diver, or maybe I only like the Submariner in certain variants. So people are different, and people have different motives, and this recommending just to fill a box or fill a price gap really annoys me, because I'm asking myself, why do we have to complete something that we don't feel, or why do we have to search for something that we don't lust after at the moment? Let it come. Let your heart speak. Let your emotions speak. When you see a certain watch, you will know if you like it or not. But don't desperately seek out to complete a collection, or don't listen to any advice on the internet when it comes to collections. I see your collection and you need that, or it lacks that. Well, maybe it lacks that, but that's probably not what I really want. And even if I understand, okay, I should have a water-resistant watch, well, I'm just waiting until one hits me then that I really like. And I think this entire concept of building up a collection, and watch boxes are the worst tool into that line of thought. Building a collection and completing something just for being complete's sake is
Sake of it, yeah, I agree. I mean,
totally wrong.
what you're saying is quite right, because the whole title of this show was to find free watches, but I couldn't. All I could think of, the one round the price point that I've always lusted for, really wanted, was the Alpinist. Yeah, so
Yep.
I couldn't see myself going out and just finding and
A
compromising on
filler.
another two.
Yep.
I need to look further and actually find something else that fits the bill. That, yeah, it's the same hit that I get from the feeling of the touch of the Alpinist. I was kind of thinking, I mean, I'm going to throw this in here, and probably a lot of people are going to poo-poo it, but the Tissot PRX, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always had a little thing for the Tissot PRXs.
Well, yeah, if you have a soft spot for the PRX, that's totally fine. But I would wait until there is one PRX that
There's
you
a
say, okay,
carbon one coming, isn't
now I'm
there?
ready.
I think they're doing a carbon one, aren't they?
Yeah, they introduced a carbon one, which is really nice. One second, I'm trying to find.
I just like some of the homage. You know the homages they did to the Tiffany and the orange dials, and I just kind of like them. At the price point. And I believe the movements. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the movements are quite good, probably as good as the ones in your Porsche watch, your highly overvalued Porsche watch that's only really worth a
No,
thousand
no, no, no,
euros.
no. That's not
But
the case.
I
But
mean,
yeah. That's not yeah, but the
compare.
P01 was certainly was certainly a universal recommendation for a budget watch collection. No doubt about that. And I've seen also something else, but I would like to show koala hugs here, and she chooses, of course, a women's watch, which is the B01 here. Very unusual, very feminine. One
Bulgari,
second.
yeah, nice, not yeah, Bulgari, a very good brand.
Yeah, I've been discussing with her Bulgari in the last couple of days, and she started to fall in love with that Bulgari design. By the way, that design is originally not the 01, but the Bulgari. The design is by Geralgenta, and he was inspired
Yeah.
by those Roman temples and those poles in the middle. That was the inspiration, and the Roman letters, of course.
So we can fit this within our budget.
I think so, yes. One second. I'm not finding a price, but if she says that it will be at the $2,000 budget. Bear
Right,
Clooney
okay.
Watches
Yeah,
here is
right.
in the comments. 2000 for three watch.
Bear my Slavic brother just threw the big spanner into the whole show.
Actually, Bear has the same line of thinking like Russ. Russ sent me an email or a message when I sent him the link to the show, and he said for 2,000 I would buy 3 straps to beef up my watch collection. Oh, sorry, 10.
Seriously, I've seen it's a shame. Kareem Kebab, one of the guys, he came onto one of the shows either the old days of Marcelo Time or on the Dungeon, and he had a watch collection. And man, his knowledge of watches at that level, those price points, was on par of your knowledge of Lange. And I mean, he knew these watches inside out, and he had some beautiful watches in his collection. Didn't spend thousands and thousands, but he had some. He really had a nice balanced collection. I wish he was around so he could hop on and show us what he's got around those sort of price points.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we elaborated now this topic really well and really widely. So thank you very much for all the recommendations and for all the ideas. At the end of the day, it's interesting to hear what people are lusting for, and it's totally okay when this is below the budget or in the budget that we just figured out. I'm just not a friend of going to a certain budget or trying to be into a certain frame. I'd rather wait until a watch really hits me that I really want to get, and it doesn't have to fulfill any pattern. Somebody said the Christopher Ward 12, which is also a very good choice in the $2,000 price range. That was what I saw previously.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, we got Hamiltons, we got Hamiltons, we got Christopher Wards. A lot of these Brit brands are
Yeah.
sort of down, around the price point.
Yeah. Okay. Now, next topic, and that is my favorite topic. So we have a member, and his name is Patek Philippe, and this guy goes on my nerves, I must say, with his constant Propaganda, which I'm calling. 1 second, let me make that a little bit bigger. And I went as far as making bullet points. So I was preparing, I was making a list of his bullet points because he's so triggered when I keep on saying that Lange kicked Patek Philippe's ass with the datograph. That was in 1998, if I remember correctly. All the big manufacturers had ébauche movements. Lemania 2310 was the standard, and the Swiss manufacturers were basically too lazy or too stingy to invest in in-house movements. And may I say, still are, because in my opinion, the Patek in-house chronograph and the Vacheron in-house chronograph are still based on the Lemania 2310 architecture. They are so similar in terms of design that I still have a hard time to believe that this comes from scratch. Now, every time that he says, "Oh, Higgins says that Lange kicked Patek's ass," like always, he deflects, and the first deflection is he mentions Patek's long history. They've been making watches long before Lange even existed, or Lange is a Phoenix brand. They're only doing watches for 30 years, and Patek has been there for much longer, for a much longer period of time, which is correct, but has nothing to do with the fact that they were lazy, particularly when it comes to chronographs. And they didn't bother to innovate, and it was groundbreaking what Lange did with the datograph. Doesn't have anything to do with history, with long-standing.
Whoa! You've been sent completely off topics. It's not Lange Day today. It's not Patek Day today. We are talking about watches under $2,000.
No.
We've got a good point.
We have moved to.
We've
to
got
the
two
next
topics
topic
today. Because Bear has made a good point.
I have more topics. I have more topics prepared. I have
let's just finish off because Bear has made his choice, and
Yeah.
Bear is a connoisseur,
Yeah.
and he's a fellow Slav. So of course I'm going to get my fellow Slavic brothers in. Now he's mentioned a Farrar, which I don't really know much about. Farrar. There you see for Farrar, Nigel Farrar. Farrar, the Alpinist, hey, and the Christopher Ward.
Yep.
Now, which Farrar and which Christopher Ward would you fit into that? We just need to finish off there.
Doctor, we are now going back to a topic that I want to end, because we are here on Elite Horology, and we've been talking about those cheap watches now for long enough, and I would like to, if you agree, Bear can.
I'll just go for a smoke while you fight over Lange and Patek. Then.
Okay, but please come back.
I'll be back anyway.
I don't want to
piss you off. No,
I'm
not pissed off. No, not at all.
Okay.
I enjoy your watch talk, and I learn.
Okay, let's go to the propaganda.
Isn't it Glassit's Originals and Lange's 180th anniversary this year?
You mean the city of Glashütte, or?
No, the Glassit's Original, the watch manufacturers, and Lange's.
I haven't seen that. The history with Lange and Glashütte Original is complicated, and you know that Lange was part of that conglomerate Glashütte Uhrenbetriebe under the Soviet control and everything. So it is. Yeah, exactly. Emil stresses out the point that I make. It's not correct and it's not fair. Lange is not a Phoenix brand. Russia take Lange watchmakers and tool, made Russian watch industry. Not only that, Lange continued to produce watches under the GUB conglomerate. Not under their own brand name. And also, Walter Lange lost his company because basically the Russians socialized the watch manufacturer in Glashütte. So, but I don't want to stress this this point too much. My point is more, okay, your company has a long history. Vacheron has a longer history. That doesn't make Vacheron any better than Patek. And the longer history, even if you say, okay, Lange, modern Lange has only 30 years of history, doesn't mean that their watch is inferior. So why are you deflecting and bringing up Patek's long history, which is undisputed and unmatched, but it has nothing to do with the product in hand. Of course, it is a world of luxury, and it's a kind of product world, and everything like that. I appreciate that, and I accept that. But at the end of the day, history is history, and it doesn't make good watches. I mean, Thomas, you're from Britain. You've seen all those traditional car makers being in trouble. For many parts, they have long-term histories. Doesn't mean that their product was really good.
Yeah, well, different things went into putting them out of business, but it wasn't necessarily that the cars weren't good. But
yeah,
I guess.
So no, but I'm seriously asking. So okay, Patek has a long history, but how does that benefit the product? Because the point that I'm making is the Lange datograph is better than a Patek chronograph when we're coming to movement, construction, design, in terms of visibility, the visual experience. It is still better. It was even more better, it was even better when Patek was.
Time can't deny that the heritage goes back 180 years to.
He will.
You can't deny it. You can't deny it. That it goes back that far. Even if the brand did have trouble and during the Second World War and afterwards, and you know, I don't know. If you want to draw his alliance with a certain brand, fair enough, but his history says a different thing, you know. But
yeah. So I'm seriously asking, okay, what is the benefit of the long history? Yes, you have a higher resale value and so on, but the pure product is not superior and wasn't superior, particularly before they moved to in-house and improved their own chronograph significantly. Now, Tanzil also had another fight with the Rancher, and particularly it went with pilot watches. Now, he mentions the 1920 Calatrava is the OG, and everything is rooted in the Calatrava. And I think that is a bold statement, because basically you see a round watch with some very elegant lugs. I will give you that, and with a dial with batons. Now, this kind of design has been there before the Calatrava and after the Calatrava. And I think it's unfair to say, it's all coming down to the Calatrava. It's a round watch with batons, basically.
Yeah, I agree on that point. Yeah, there's been there before the Calatrava.
Yeah,
the round watches with batons, and you can't say the Calatrava is the grail of
doesn't diminish the quality of the Calatrava and the iconic status of the Calatrava, no doubt about that. But I wouldn't go that far to say that the Calatrava is the root to everything, particularly when we are talking about the pilot watches. And I would like to come to the pilot watches for a second. Now, I have so many tabs open that I'm a little bit confused. One second, where is that tab? Because that tab is in Safari, and I have to open that tab in Chrome. Okay, here we are, Zenith history. And here the Rancher had to correct our friend Patek Philippe. So we're talking about this particular design, and in 2015, Patek introduced their pilot watch and many people say that this is a copy of the Zenith pilot watch that came, by the way, 3 years earlier in 2012. Now, Zenith were doing those kind of watches with this kind of design since the I think 19 when was it?
I've got to
I
say,
don't
I love the radium. That's the one thing I miss is the radium when it goes that nice brown colour.
know.
Its
Yeah,
half-life is 30 years. When it goes brown, I really love those dials.
yeah.
I wish they'd bring radium back, actually.
Oh,
It can
oh,
be
please not.
it can be handled safely now. I mean, the loom these days is just garbage. After about 6 hours of your Rolex and everything else, it just loses the loom. Nothing beats radium, and it can be safely used enclosed in tubes, etc. these days without
Yeah, but you
creating
have to
radon
enclose
gas.
it because the problem with the old
Yeah, because
radium
otherwise it creates a radon
is the
gas.
dust.
Yeah, one mind
Yeah.
you, pot.
Okay.
But you need
So
a whole. Let's face it. For your collector, you need a whole drawer full of these radium dials for it to cause you any real health issues. Yeah. There's the people who are involved in the manufacturing process of getting harmed by this, realistically.
yeah. So okay, but yeah. So Patel's point was in the 1930s, Patek had a Calatrava with this kind of dial design. So basically, the Zenith ripped them off. Now here's the evidence that even since 1909, Zenith were doing this kind of design on the dial. This is a converted pocket watch that pilots wore at the time. So that dispute over the pilot watch and who copied who will certainly have a winner in Zenith and not in Patek. But I found it also a bold statement. Okay, there was a Calatrava with this kind of dial design. Is that now the OG, or is that just a different dial variation?
Different dial variation.
I see that as a different dial variations. I mean, we have so many round watches. It's very difficult to pick up an OG one. Okay.
I love the crown on that. I mean, imagine that digging into your wrist.
Well, it is a pocket watch, so
Yeah,
they
but
didn't care. Yeah.
it could be a bit flat.
Yeah.
It's like it's a bit of a knobbler poking out of that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love the dial. It's just that crown's really, it's blowing my mind. But
There's a pocket watch, Dodger.
So Bear Clooney made a list. Let's see how much I agree with him. Brand recognition, Patek wins. Yes, I agree. Brand prestige, Patek wins. I agree. Retail value, Patek wins. I agree. Resale value, Patek wins. Depends a little bit, but in general, I agree with you. Horology tie, Lange favorite. Accuracy, One second, horology tie. It is a tie. When it comes to horology.
But of course, I need to add one other caveat to that. One little addition to that. Patek was a Slav, so it wins.
No, well, I can agree with everything. Accuracy, Lange wins. Patel will tell you. Well,
no, I wouldn't agree. No, Lange. I mean, look at your Fusee chain watch. Was that losing how many seconds a day? I mean,
yeah, but
to make a fancy
was not.
Watch, but
it was not serviced yet.
Yeah, but is it keeping time now?
It is keeping time, but I will not mention the time. It's a little bit off because the oils are.
Well, there you go. You see, a little bit off. You buy a Rolex, you buy a Patek, you don't get these problems.
No, that's not true. If you have a brand new or if you have a watch that has been sitting for 13 years in a safe, you have to accept that this is not the accuracy of one.
Well, I actually do have a watch that's been sitting for 30 years without being serviced, and it's still accurate.
How much?
Even my Seiko, greater quartz.
Yeah, but the Seiko is quartz.
Yeah, it's in 77. But anyway, my date just has been sat in safe, not hardly ever used. 30 years, still keeps perfect time.
I can show you a lot of Rolex 10 years old with 10 years old oils that are totally off. So it is a one-off example, but it is not the rule, I would say. So accuracy, Lange sometimes wins, Patek sometimes really wins. Is it really? Does it really count? Because when we are talking about accuracy, then we are on slippery slope, and the question is, okay, when accuracy is king, and the most important merit of a watch brand, why don't we buy quartz watches then? So
Well, you
my
buy an
point,
iPhone. Yeah, if you want accuracy, you buy an iPhone, don't you? But or a quartz
yeah,
watch. Like my Mudmaster synchronizes itself every single night to some tower in Europe, and
yeah,
it's spot on all of the time.
yeah.
But
So
we don't buy watches for accuracy. Let's face it.
exactly,
We buy it for.
that is my point, and that point is always stressed by Tanzil, and he so triggers me. Of course not, but he always mentions the accuracy, and I'm very often saying, okay, so Patek is guaranteeing in their Patek seal -1 to +2 seconds a day, but the question is, how do they achieve it in the first place? They achieve it in the first place not because their movements are made better, the quality is better, the finishing is better, the watchmaking in general is better. The one detail that differentiates Patek from Lange is the hairspring, and we are talking about the silicon hairspring that Patek is using and prevents that they're getting the Geneva seal. So most of today's Patek watches don't have the traditional metallic hairspring. They're having the silicon hairspring, which is called Spiromax, and that, in my opinion, is questionable. Is that still watchmaking, or is that high tech? That
I think
ultimately
it is
then,
because the old steel hairsprings are really susceptible to magnetic
yeah,
influence. Like the bottom, you put your iPhone, the bottom of your iPhone near one of those old magnetic springs. It's going to muck up the timekeeping. There's so many high-powered magnets in the world now. These Chinese hyper magnets. That in this world, you really need to go, to go silicon or another material because otherwise, you're going to get problems. So, I get it. I get it. I understand what you're saying. Traditional is the old bit of metal wire wrapped around, and there you go. But no, I do understand for this world, you need to protect watches. There's so many, silly magnetic fields from so many. Even your earpods, your earpod case has got a magnet case on the back. So
yeah,
you
but
put that in your man
daughter,
bag with your little watch case with your watch in it. It's chances are it's going to affect the mainspring if it's made out of steel.
most of the modern watch mainsprings are resistant against magnetic interferences. So that's not really an issue on a daily basis. Okay, you shouldn't put a neodymium magnet next to an escapement.
That's what I was looking for, neodymium magnets.
Yeah, but most of modern hairsprings resist a certain amount of magnetic interference. So this is not really an issue in my opinion anymore. Thomas, what is your thought about that?
I don't know. Let's have a shootout. Let's go neodymium magnet, meet up in Berlin and put our watches round it and see which ones get wrong.
Please not, please not. So one
There's
second.
there's a lot of anti-magnetic properties in a lot of movements now. I think, like you say, it's not really a concern now.
Yeah. And just have a look at the production of silicon hairsprings. They are made out of a wafer, and they're not unique. Those are high tech, produced in a sterile room, and they are mass produced. In my opinion, those silicon hairsprings have nothing, zero to do with traditional watchmaking.
But things have to move on, Even people like Bach, people who've created the greatest music and art, and they wouldn't want you to stay in. You had somebody like Bach and other great artists, whoever, whatever, be they watchmakers. They would want to progress with the times. Why, there are two schools of thought. One's to stay in the past, and the other school is to move forward and create better and greater. I guess this is where Richard Mille come in, with their movements as opposed to your more,
Yeah,
for want of
Richard
a better
Miller
word,
on their own
traditional
movements, then the
watchmaking.
Flasher
I mean,
movement,
who's
then
right and who's wrong here?
Yeah,
Those who want to keep tradition, but those who actually want to move the technology forward with the modern day. It's an interesting question.
Richard Mille aren't their own movements, they're Flasher movements.
yeah. So
Yeah, but they're using more sort of composite materials in their watches, and they're using more, computer-aided design, CNC machining.
But I think what Jonathan's talking about is the hairspring, which is the beating heart of the watch.
mm, that is
The
the beating heart. Yes. Mhm.
yeah,
But
yeah.
why?
So
Why?
I mean,
I don't get why the material matters. Well, why does it matter, really? If you've got a better material, why
Because
not use the better material?
for centuries watchmakers have been experimenting with different alloys, with different shapes. There are
Yeah.
different scholars which end curve for the hairspring is the best. We have the Breguet end curve. We have the Phillips end curve. We have many Glashütte end curves. So the design of those little hairsprings is a century old science that is now thrown overboard with generic mass production of high tech elements. And
yeah.
I can't tell you which is the reply to that question. And I think it's a legitimate point that you're making, Dodger, to say you have to go with the progress. And even the Swiss watch industry was going with the progress. But you see what trouble they brought the progress in the 1970s, where
Mm.
the Swiss watch industry thought that quartz will be the future and not mechanical watches.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, true, true, true.
And
Exactly.
sometimes, and now I'm making a car analogy, which I usually hate. So you've been in the south of France, and they have a beautiful highway between Saint Tropez and Nice, which is very efficient, takes you 1.5 hours.
It's not beautiful. It's a dual cabbage way with tolls
Yep,
on it.
exactly.
There's little silly bends, and then some car ended up on its roof, and I was
Yep,
stuck on
but it's
there. And
fast.
it's
It's
not
fast.
particularly
It's
fast.
efficient. It's
€3 from
mm,
Tollbooth to Tollbooth.
yeah.
It's not fast.
It's faster
No,
than if you
sorry.
take the country road, but the country road is so much more enjoyable. So, so all the arguments against it's convenient, it's faster, it's maybe less stressful, it's probably less dangerous. All the arguments are none if you ever try to take those country roads in the back of the Swiss Sea Alps and experience those roads. There are mountain passes that cost a lot of money that take forever against the tunnel. They're
Yeah,
totally
yeah, I did.
inefficient.
Yeah, I did the coast road the one day. We did when we came back the toll roadway. We did the coast road, which is great in the winter when there's no traffic, but in the summer
Yeah,
you're sort of bumper to bumper and you get nowhere. But
yeah,
yeah, I get your analogy, but there again, I like to think some if some components are more reliable and it saves you from getting that €900 charge to have your watch serviced every 5 years or 7 years, then it's got to be worth it. That's got to be worth it because look, at the end of the day, for me personally, I appreciate high quality workmanship and the workmanship that goes into making each individual component. But if some components, that critical components, are a bit wishy-washy in the old materials, they can be swapped out to make the longevity and the service times longer. then as an owner of a watch, who's already, if I've already spent 30,000 euros on a watch, I don't want to be spending another 1,000 euros every 3 years. Now, okay, 1,000 euros, maybe 8, 9, 10 years, that's okay.
I
But
would say that a bit of plastic
whoa,
is
hang
not.
on. If you were saying to me, I like the old traditional fact that they wind it round their finger, wind a bit of steel round their finger, compared to a mass-manufactured silicon head. For me, it doesn't matter. That little element does not matter. If it means it's going to cost me less to own that, the cost of ownership of that watch over 20, 30 years is going to be less, then that's just perfect.
Okay, Thomas, you were trying to make a
I was
point.
just going to say, I would say a bit of plastic is a bit more wishy-washy than a bit of metal. But
Yeah, and
anyway,
again, we love watchmaking because of watchmaking, and not because it's efficient or suitable for mass production. We appreciate those little details that are hard to make and not efficient to make. And I'm the question is, Dodger, when you're afraid of servicing, and when that is your main concern, again, why don't we get a quartz watch?
Well, there's a balance to be had, isn't there? There's got to be a balance to be had in all of these
Hmm.
things. I mean, then you can sort of say, well, why do you go and buy a new Mini when you could have bought an old Mini Cooper from 1972, fixed it yourself, and it wouldn't cost you as much to run or buy or your own costs.
Okay,
So, I mean,
let's have
what do you do? What do you do?
let's have a look in the chats, because I've seen some interesting comments. So Emil
And
is
I have as
asking,
well.
what is the guarantee Lange will not use this tech in the future? There is no guarantee,
No,
and
no.
I'm not saying at the moment. I'm saying that I would prefer a traditional hairspring over those silicon hairsprings. And now you will see, we will discuss now MEMS technology, and I have a clear opinion about that, which probably is contradictory to what I previously said. Again, Tan.
That's great. Big hitter on us. Tan's got the big guns. Tan's got the big gun on.
Why are you muted still? Okay, no sound, no sound.
He doesn't want to talk. He should,
Yeah,
what's on his wrists telling
Patek
you
is
everything,
king, I
Jonathan.
guess. I guess Patek is king.
Yep, yep, yep. You got it. You got it. But do you ever think, Jonathan? Look, I mean, in your Rolex, in your standard Rolex, you don't get to see this shit in the back. So who cares if it's a silicon spring or a steel spring? Hey, who gives a damn? I don't.
Uh, if I well, but the question is, why are you then spending so much money on the Rolex
Oh, because it's like a
when you
big
don't
hitter,
care?
and I can show off and pull all the girls, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's really expensive, and I can say, hey, look, I'm wearing a Rolex and show off, I
Hmm.
suppose.
Okay, so it doesn't matter
I
if the
guess.
Rolex is mechanical or quartz at the end of the day. Main thing is
No,
it's
no,
a
no,
Rolex.
no, 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 no. You
Yeah.
go. You see, you're getting over passionate. You're getting over passionate. No, it doesn't matter. There's a big difference between something that's mechanical, no matter what the components are made out of. There could be carbon fiber. There could be made out of Mars dust. They're mechanical. There's a big difference between mechanical, electronic, and obviously
Okay.
circuitry and quartz. There's a huge difference. I mean, but it really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. But the fact is, yes, there's a beauty of mechanics and the way cogs and wheels go around. But not that, I'm not necessarily that worried if one component's made out of carbon fiber, if it's made out of steel, to be honest with you. I just know that one doesn't rust if you drop it in water, the other one
Hmm.
does. So if you get a little bit of ingress of water into your little watch with your little steel bits in it, it's going to rust away inside and be brown. And then Alex would have to take it apart and repair it and get rid of all the rust. You know what I mean? What the hell?
Okay, so we have a question here from CB. What did I miss? Just tuned in. You missed a lot. I mean, we are now 1 hour and 14 minutes into the show. I was picking up your question about the $2,000 three-piece collection, and I went a little bit further, saying that I really don't like that idea of building a collection for collection's sake. My strategy would be to pick one watch for 2,000 instead of three watches for 666. But I invite you to listen back. This is not going under membership or private, unless I'm doxing someone in the last minute. So I would like to move further, because we were now discussing about the silicon hairspring, where I have a clear opinion that this is not traditional watchmaking and not what. No, that conclusion is wrong. I will come back to your spreadsheet and to the bullet points. So my personal opinion is that traditional hairsprings are much nicer to have, because they put me back to the old watchmakers. It is a century-old development of optimizing and working endless hours. But now I would like to talk about MEMS. Do you know what MEMS is, Dodger and Thomas?
No, memes. Are you talking about memes? Not you're talking about men's, like men's toilets,
MEMS.
or a meme, or
No, it's a technology. It's a mechanical technology. I think it's also kind of matrix printing. I don't know exactly how it works, but I know that they are able to make those gears that are hollowed out, that no watchmaker can do. So this is also high-tech technology. So have a look at that escapement wheel here. Or he has two. That is from our friend Bernhard Lederer, the beautiful central impulse chronometer. And he was talking in length about optimizing and being efficient. And part of his goal of being efficient is using MEMS, so to minimize the amount of metal in those critical
material.
parts.
Yeah, I can see. Yes, for a traditional watchmaker to make those wheels would be virtually impossible. And I get it. Yeah, the less weight, then the less
Yeah.
power. The less weight, the less power that watch is going to be using. So, what is wrong in using that level of technology in what is a mechanical watch? This is what I don't get. Well, what is wrong in doing that? If the watchmaker is overseeing the CNC technology, doing a design on
Yeah.
CAD and designing that wheel, then putting it into manufacture. I mean, why is it because he's not got a little file and a toothpick digging out?
Yeah.
Is that the difference? Digging out that bit of material? I mean,
But
the guys?
that's
They're both
exactly,
guys are
yeah.
skilled. The guy who
Yeah.
wrote the code, who did the QA and manufactured that on a computer. I mean, who's to say he's less skilled than the guy who's got a little toothpick who's going to have to poke around for about 10 years to make those little hollows in that wheel? I mean,
Look, Dodger,
come on.
I'm asking questions here, and I'm trying to start a discussion, and I'm pretty sure we are not ending that discussion today, because we will not find an infinite answer
Answer to it
on
now.
that.
No, but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the debate. So, it is, and it'll be ongoing. I think.
So our friend Bernhard Lederer also said that those MEMS made gears, if I remember correctly, he says he gets efficiency by reducing the weight, but the production
yeah.
process makes it impossible to polish those. And there is sliding fraction on those ruby pellets. So he says he's losing some of the efficiency because the surface cannot be polished as perfectly as on the traditional making of a gear. So it is sometimes it's a two-sided sword. Again, I don't really feel how I don't really know how I feel about those gears because they look fantastic, they look extraordinary, and I applaud the efforts to make it more efficient. But at the end of the day, it's similar to my criticism of silicon hairspring. So I should not like them, but I kind of like them. Thomas, what do you think?
This is it. I mean, you've got people like him who are embracing and looking to using other technologies, but still maintaining, the core of a mechanical watch. It's not throwing electronic parts in there or bits of computers or quartz crystal. And you've got to appreciate people trying to push boundaries further. Bach would not be writing the same music that he wrote 100 years ago, would he? I mean, he'd be writing something, more up to date. He wouldn't want to be stuck in the past.
Thomas, do you have any opinions?
Well, I'm just sort of listening to the conversation, really.
Yeah.
Just
So yeah, so it is difficult to determine now. I'm trying to bring up another example, the beautiful new Grand Seiko movement with the dual impulse escapement, which is applauded by Bernhard Lederer, and you can see here the pallet fork is totally shaped differently with three pallets here on the same element, and also here now the escapement wheel totally looks differently than a traditional escapement wheel. Now this is all made with MEMS technology, and you could rightly say that this is a sacrilege, but this is a super modern movement that I really dig, and to the price bracket of Grand Seiko, I'm willing to accept this. We're talking about $10,000 watches, $12,000 watches, something like that. Would I accept that on a $50,000 watches? I'm not sure, because then we're going into a field of high horology, and we are all then appreciating the high end level finishing and the craftsmanship and the man hours that go into the production of this. And I don't want to have this high tech then in such a movement. But that is me, and probably my mind changes in 10 years.
I really do appreciate the fact that you love and you wish to protect, very traditional skills. And there's a value to that. And yes, maybe, the very high end beat Patek or any other high end watch, then maybe those things maybe should be kept, for sort of archaeological purposes, museum piece purposes. But me personally, I like to go with progress, but not in the
So,
progress that the quartz crisis took watchmaking. I still believe in things of
so,
beauty. I'm not happy with modern day cars made completely out of plastic and full of batteries and garbage. It's I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. At the very, very high end, if you're spending 100, 200K on a watch, then you've got to make sure they're sweating in those sweatshops. So that's 100K.
yeah. So Emil has made a remark. 1 second. I'm trying to pull up a different image to have a comparison.
I do like that. I do like that escapement, Jonathan. That is very
That is,
interesting.
yeah. So he says Seiko is also not better than Patek. I recommend going back to the interview with Bernhard Lederer that he had. He attributed Grand Seiko the highest level of respect, and I'm pretty sure that this kind of escapement is a revolutionary escapement that nobody is really talking about. Has a lot of to do with that respect that he pays to the brand. In my opinion, this is groundbreaking. This is revolutionary, maybe even on a higher level than the coaxial escapement in the Omega, and it works. So I would say this escapement is better than any escapement that you find in any of the Patek Philippe watches, particularly on the 40, 50, 60-year-old Ebauche. Now, in general, you may be right, but this here, when we're talking about high tech, when we are talking about being on top of modern watchmaking, this is absolutely high end, and I can't wait for Grand Seiko to put that into their normal production. Now, does it look as cool as a traditional balance wheel with those old screws inside and everything? I'm not sure.
Probably not. No, I
Yeah,
like the screws, to be honest. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I agree. I get your point. I get your point. But another question for you, Jonathan: do you still have any Grand Seikos?
I have one.
Sam, how many did you used to have?
Around 10.
Okay, so big question: what made you reduce the quantity of Grand
I
Seikos? Just an
consolidated because
interesting question.
I realized when I have that one micro artist studio Grand Seiko, I will not wear the other Grand Seikos anymore. So I get rid of them.
Oh, is that the snowflake? Is that the snowflake?
Andy had to buy the Lange that you bought, the Paul
Uh,
Muse.
no, no, those Grand Seikos have been gone before. So I sacrificed most of the Grand Seikos for the micro artist studios that I got instead. So to reply to your question, Dodger, this is the micro artist studio. It's a spring drive. It's not the snowflake.
Ah, right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I just wanted to make the point how beautiful a traditional escapement can look like with the beautiful hand bent hairspring in the middle. Here you have a Guillaume balance wheel, bimetallic. So you see the inside is a white metal and outside is a yellow metal riveted on, and it has also those two gaps, which means when the metal expands, when the temperature is getting higher, those wings that are on the longer end from the axle, they bend inwards, so they compensate for the extraction of the balance wheel. So this is century-old watchmaking with those beautiful balance screws. And now, even when I've been praising Grand Seiko previously for their incredible escapement, but there's a kind of romance missing, and I kind of miss that. And like I said, I accept that on a 12,000 euro watch, on a 50,000 euro watch, I have a hard time to accept this.
No, I do accept your point. I do accept this point. Then again, I'm not likely to spend 100k on a watch, so I'm going to stick to the 12k as.
Okay, let's go back to the bullet points when I find them buried under all my oh shit. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here is it. Here is it. So my bullet points. Okay, we were on a long tangent now with my
We got to the Calatrava as the original, which isn't.
which is not certainly not. No, but I'm talking now about the quality of Patek Philippe, and it's unmatched. And he always quotes the precision. -1 plus 2 days seconds plus 2 seconds per day. And my point was, how is that precision reached? Well, mostly because of the silicon hairspring, not because the watchmaking is better. And the silicon hairspring is at least controversial when it comes to traditional watchmaking. And I took that long tangent just to show you how difficult it is to decide now what is good, what is bad, what is the future that we have to march on, or what is the tradition that we have to keep. And then I had an interesting conversation with Simon Brett, who emphasized that everything that he does, he always keeps in mind to respect the tradition of watchmaking. That is his main goal. His main goal is not to be super modern. He's talking a lot about respect.
Yeah, I
You've
mean
got to be careful of people. I mean, like in
what
any industry, a lot of people they say, oh, I respect the old style and the old way of doing things, only because they haven't got the money to invest in the machinery, tooling, and gearing to, do more modern day things. I mean, I've heard that story a million times in other industries. I'm not saying he's doing it for that reason, but there's
Yeah.
always a question.
So Patel,
is
you're right. Minus 3+2 is the quality of Geneva seal. But if you look into the warranty paper of your Patek, it says the precision is -1 to +2 seconds a day. I was not talking about the Patek seal. I was here talking about the guaranteed precision that Patek puts in their warranty papers. At the moment, the facts are right.
Well, I was surprised
Unless,
about Patek's big move. This is a side point. I was surprised that about a year or so ago they downgraded the waterproofing of all their watches.
Mm,
Did they actually find that they were having a lot of failures and a lot of warranty claims? So they toned it all down.
I think it's too
Was that the
new
case, or
to.
was there
Yeah.
some other kind of bizarre reason that Patek sort of suddenly downrated all the waterproofing of their watches?
So I would say it's too new to really see if that affects. I also think that the quality that Patek puts out hasn't been diminished just because they rate their watches now 30 meters and not the Nautilus anymore, 100 meter,
Yeah, 100 meters. You just wondered what what
120.
what was the cause of them. From a marketing point, it could never have been a positive to downgrade. I'm just wondering what was in the background, what caused that to happen to a brand like Patek. And I still don't have a real answer. Maybe only they know. Maybe they had a million and one
Yes, Sensil, that's
warranty claims
correct.
with people with foggy watches every 5 minutes. They were getting a foggy watch back. I don't know.
So Tan is asking the what warrant is -1 +2. That is written in the guarantee. I was googling it and I found an official Patek. It is in a manual instruction actually. Every movement that is over 20 millimeters, they say the precision is -1 +2. And I researched the the Patek seal that is -3 +2. So.
You're right about the different watchmakers saying how they like to stick to traditional watchmaking, though, Jonathan. Because
Mm,
I mean, I've spoken to a few. I've spoken to Simon Brett. I've spoken to Cyril Bruant-Nordau, the youngest person to join the AHCI, and he was exactly the same. He's making key wound watches,
mhm.
which is remarkable. I've spoken to Andre Estrella. I've spoken to John McGonigal. I've spoken to the McGonigal brothers. All sorts of different. Vini Halter. I've spoken to Kai Vutulainen, and they all say the same thing. They're keeping it real and keeping true to traditional watchmaking practices.
Yeah.
They want to stick to Bernard Lederer, and people like that all say the same. They all say the same. They want to stay true. Their main focus is keeping real to traditional watchmaking practices.
Yeah, I remember when I started selling watches in the 1980s, people were still in the mind that if you pay for an expensive watch, it has to be accurate. So there was no way a mechanical watch could win against a quartz watch, which were plenty back then. And we always had to remind them, look, a mechanical watch is following a century-old tradition. And
Yeah,
because of that tradition, it can't be as precise as a modern quartz watch. But you're buying here, you're buying into history, in generations of watchmaking, which is transferred in the modern times. So this is a kind of time machine that you're buying, and not a super efficient product.
Yeah,
So we
exactly.
try to emphasize the romance of watchmaking and not the modern aspect, because the modern aspect you can't win against the quartz watch.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the it's the romance, isn't it? Um, like a lot of people in the chat are saying, there's a lot of romance attached to the art of watchmaking, I guess.
Yeah. So again, I don't know the answers, and I don't know if Lange moves to silicon hairsprings next year. I don't know that. I just know that I don't like it, or I wouldn't like it. However, to a certain degree, I have respect to modern developments and all those crazy innovations. And let's be honest, Thomas, you and I know that modern tourbillons could not be made 30 years ago, because the technology didn't exist. You can't you can't make a tourbillon cage with that little weight and with that stability without having a computer to design that, and by using your hands and file that thing out. That is impossible. You need modern technology for those
Yeah,
crazy
exactly.
innovations.
Exactly. And my favorite brand of all, Breguet, they're using silicon hairsprings now. So, I mean,
Yeah.
uh, they were able to make their ultra thin watches with tourbillons without
Mm.
silicon hairsprings. So it's down, it's downhill for them.
Yeah.
Well, not
I've
downhill. It's not downhill. It's uphill. They're making better watches now. In some respects, thinner. With that's one thing they're making. Like you mentioned, they're making thinner watches with lighter movements,
yeah.
and which is great to see.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the response to my question is okay. So we determined without modern quality, it's impossible to create a tourbillon for a watch. So I have to accept modern technology on a tourbillon. But we have good alternatives with hairsprings, and the benefit in precision, in my opinion, is not worth to move to a more modern technology, and that is why I don't like the silicon hairspring, for example. But yeah.
There's only, I was going to say, there's only three of us on the panel, and a lot of very knowledgeable people I can see in our chat. And I'm just wondering if you drop the link and see if anybody else wants to sort of chip in and have that, have a broader viewpoint.
So Patel confirms that the -1 +2 tolerance is written in the guarantee, and it also applies to Pateks with Breguet overcoil. So what is your similar argument? I doubt that Patek. So my point is the Pateks with Breguet overcoil are only a few, and it's relatively easy to regulate them than to that tolerance. The question also is how long durable that tolerance really lasts, because sometimes if you stop a watch and let it run again, you will have a different tolerance, and it's probably then over. So it's a very delicate topic, but I would say the Pateks with Breguet overcoiled are regulated better and with much more time consuming. In my opinion, that silicon hairspring is the main factor how they can guarantee the tolerance over the entire product field, which is now 90% of silicon hairsprings.
Emil's just asking, is there real silver in the German silver used for the Lange movement? I believe
No.
there is, isn't there?
No.
Is there not?
No. It's as far as I know, it's copper and zinc.
Ah, right, okay.
There is no silver in German silver.
Right, I thought there was.
Oh, we have a
I
new member
might
here in the
mistake.
panel. Mrs. Lai is asking if Patel did his homework, and he says no. So who lied, Emil? I don't know. So yeah, my point is the quality of Patek Philippe certainly is good. The high precision, in my opinion, is mainly achieved by that silicon hairspring, not exclusively, but mainly. And the remaining watches that have a Breguet overcoil are regulated much higher. Patek could not do that on the entire product range. Then they would have to go down with their precision promise. That is my point. So the last point, Patek innovation is revolutionary, especially the annual calendar. He always says, tell me one innovation in the last centuries that was as universally integrated and as important as the annual calendar. I think that is a total subjective argument. In my opinion, not many watch collectors really care about an annual calendar. It's an interesting stepping stone. It's interesting for marketing. It's interesting for the bottom line of the company, because they can sell those watches significantly higher because of that so-called complication. But it's relatively easy to achieve for Patek Philippe. So the last 30 years. You said the last 30 years. But in my opinion, nobody was really talking about annual calendar. Not really many people are lusting for the annual calendar. And so it's not really a relevant development outside of the Patek world. I know that the Sky Dweller is also an annual calendar. I don't think that people are buying that watch because it's an annual calendar. That is just basically, how do you say, a collateral.
Timely behaviour is pulling you up on the question, saying you ignored it. I think he's referring to the question. So the tolerance change when the watch stops from hacking or from running out of power.
Yeah, the tolerance changes when the watch stops, because then the oil distribution is different than from a running watch. So then the gravity chimes in, and probably you observe with a well-running watch, the moment that it runs out or you stop it, you will never be able to achieve that precision. I had that many times, and stop sour through. Doesn't matter if it's hacked or if it's running out of power. So I don't know what the question is. It's irrelevant. When it stops, and the oil distribution is then different compared to a normally running watches. Does it make sense, Thomas? Or?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not sure what time he was referring to.
I don't know as well. So I don't know what he means.
I think it was something you were talking about the quality of Patek Philippe is unmatched.
Well, my point is the precision change. Not sure where you're going with when the balance is stopped via hacking under load. So when it's stopped under hacking, do you mean? I don't know what you mean with hacking under load. I think particularly when we're talking about the balance wheel and the escapement wheel, those are constantly running, and once you stop that flow, then the oil distribution is different. That changes. It doesn't matter if it's running out or if it's being hacked. And of course, I know how a watch is hacked. There is a little spring that touches the balance wheel. Not sure where you're going there, if it scratches it, if it loses mass, or if there is load on the pivot. Not sure what you mean. So maybe you're a little bit clearer in your argument. My argument is the oil distribution, particularly in those pivots, escapement wheel and balance wheel are changed. and that interferes with the precision. Okay, let's move on.
I love Tans.
Yeah. He can't
He's
stop.
watching. See, Tan's got all muted. He's got the soap opera in the background. Look, I'm more interested in the soap opera in the background now. We've seen a lot of that watch now.
The Bollywood in the background. It's great, man. I love it, Tan.
Timely behavior.
I love the TV.
There is an aspect of gravity, and the oils are running back to the lowest part, so it's different than in a total running watch. That is at least as much as I know. So, okay, let's pull up Tan's point again. Tan is always destroying my presentation here. I think he's kind of trying to terrorize my argument here. So yeah, Patek Philippe's innovation in the last 30 years, the only innovation that I can see is the annual calendar. Question is it really that important, that significant outside of the Patek world, and even for the Patek world, like he always makes it sound like. Other than that, they were sitting on the same Bosch now for many years. They were starting now with a new manual movement and also with a new automatic movement a couple of years ago, because they had to increase the sizes because their movement started to look ridiculous with transparent case backs.
I guess
I was going to say they sort of padded them out with a ring, didn't they? It looks a bit silly with a little ring padding it out.
Thomas, sorry?
I guess the annual calendar is a bit of a downgrade from the perpetual calendar, isn't it?
Well, I remember the annual calendar was a big wave when it was presented, but that toned down then very quick. The genius thing, there was a big gap between a normal Calatrava with a normal calendar and a perpetual calendar. If I remember correctly, a Calatrava was like $10,000 US, and the perpetual calendar started at 45. So it's a big step. And the annual calendar eased that step in a kind of way because it was positioned in the middle in terms of pricing. So it was possible to have a more complicated watch from Patek Philippe for less money than buying in a perpetual calendar, because back then perpetual calendars were relatively rare still, and very elitist watches. So not many really could afford this money.
Of course.
So it was a kind of stepping stone, and I agree with that. But in the eye of the connoisseur, and now that we have many more buyers now for perpetual calendars. Look how many perpetual calendars Patek has in the range now without additional complication. That has never been there before. They had one perpetual calendar, and that was it. So now people look at it like a not really perpetual calendar, and I think on the secondary market you can see that kind of reflected.
Right, yeah, of course.
Okay, so Higgins, in 2005, Patek started using silicon in balance spring Spiromax. Yeah, I know that. So what is the point? Is that innovation? Because as far as I know, silicon hairsprings were innovated before. That is not a Patek innovation, if I know that correctly. Okay.
You just want to pull up Timely's second from last comment. Gravity has more effect on oil when you rotate the watch.
I think he's trying to distract here the discussion.
Oh right, okay.
So we're going back and forth. I had a lot of conversations with watchmakers who told me that, I know that gravity has an effect on oil. The gravity effect on oil on a running watch is different than the gravity effect on a watch that doesn't run. That is my point. I know that gravity has an effect, but you can't eliminate that. What you can do is eliminate your watch running out or being hacked.
He says the theory only exists into a watch in a static position.
Sorry?
He says the theory only exists to a watch in a static position.
Yeah. What can I do? I mean, well, when a watch is hacked, it's in a static position. Either it runs out or you have it in your hand and you stop it. So, yeah. The theory exists on a watch in a static position. That is the automatism. Now, you're saying that effect is only existing because the watch is rested in a static position. I'm not buying into that because watches are worn all the time and are making in static position. I know you do some watchmaking, and I try to not to address that because I seriously have the feeling that you're just trying to be a dick. But at the end of the day, I had many discussions with watchmakers about that, and everybody confirms that if you have a super precise watch, what you have to avoid and to eliminate is to stop your watch, to hack it or to let it run out. Yeah, Timely, you're repeating your argument.
Why don't you drop the link for Timely? We can sort of discuss it.
To be honest, I don't want to discuss with Timely because Timely has a tendency of being passive aggressive and unwelcoming, and I don't think that this discussion leads to anywhere. And additionally, as far as I know, he's not a qualified watchmaker. I'm not a qualified watchmaker, so we are two amateurs exchanging point of views. Difference is that I've been talking to high-end watchmakers. He probably not. I don't know. I really don't want to have that discussion because we can't go deep into that. I just made my point where I see the difference. He has a different point of view, and that's totally okay.
I'll tell you what'd be cool. You, Timely, and Alex Foti. That'd be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I'd do that. But Timely, right from the beginning, when I started at Mr. GMT's chat, he was always unwelcoming and antagonizing, and I won't accept that on my channel. Okay,
so back to the propaganda.
Yeah, the propaganda. Well, the propaganda is now over. I think I addressed the main points, and what stays, and I'm really honest. I don't try to shit on Patek. Quite the contrary. I respect the brand for many achievements, and it's true that Patek, among others, carried the flag of traditional watchmaking over the years, where other companies simply died. Think of Lange and Universal Genève and all the brands that died during the quartz crisis, but Patek survived, and Patek contributed to watchmaking back then, still do, and probably got a lot of money for the jewelers, for the ADs, to keep on with their business instead of shifting totally to quartz. And again, I mean, Thomas, you and I, we've been to the Rare Handcraft exhibition in London. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
It is amazing the tradition that they carry on, the craftsmanship that you see here. It's just mind blowing. And you you heard this this director talking about the boutique director talking about that he knows Thierry Stern or both Sterns for so long, and he remembers when they carried on with those rare handcrafts. Difficult word. Difficult word. I'm talked out now. They carried on with those rare handcrafts when nobody really wanted them, and they kept on producing them, and they kept on keeping those artisans in occupied and above water.
Yeah. Yeah, it was an amazing exhibition, that, and the amount of information we got was amazing.
Yeah. So CB says Higgins Patek has 160 people in the research and development department, and the result is the reliability and perfection of all the catalog, and that is true. No doubt about that. I just would say that when you look at the quality that is put out, Lange doesn't have to shy away from this kind of quality that they are doing. So CB thinks that they're not as precise, and now we're turning a circle, because my point is, I think the step forward in terms of precision is mainly that silicon hairspring.
Five, two, one, Taipei, and he says, wow.
Not sure what he means. Yeah, we have 30 viewers. Please upvote for this channel. It's really appreciated, and yeah, I'm happy that Thomas and Dodger are joining me, and Patel is flexing his perpetual calendar. Actually, I would love to have now the controversy about his bullet points.
I love the 5320. It's a beautiful.
I'm just pleased that you actually now agree that the silicon hairspring is a step forward.
Say it again. The silicon hairspring is a step forward in terms of precision. Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad you agree that now, that it was a step forward in precision.
I never denied that.
You just said it, didn't you, with Patek?
No, it's a step forward into precision, but I'm not sure if I like that. I'm not sure if I like the visuals, and I don't. I'm not sure if I like the way that this precision is achieved. But there is no doubt that the silicon hairspring is an improvement over the metallic hairspring. No doubt about that. It's
a romanticism.
Yes.
Doctor. It's the romanticism of it, watchmaking.
Yeah. So I'm not sure, CB, where you're coming from, that a Lange needs more maintenance than a Patek. It will be interesting to discuss that, CB. I don't know where you're going from here. So the silicon spring was constantly improved, and still they're working on it. And not only Patek Philippe. I mean, Omega just introduced their silicon hairspring. I'm pretty sure that that Seiko is also working hard on that. So CB says, because I owned both. Yeah, but is that really significant, or is that statistically relevant? I've never owned a Lange, so I can't say. Well, that is a recommended service interval also for a Patek Philippe. So I'm not sure how that works in the practice, because I'm not a Patek owner. I have Langes that lasted longer than 5 years. I'm not sure about Patek. I can't tell you that. When I hear silver, I expect real silver. What is this German joke? I'm not sure where that word comes from. In German we say new silver, Neusilber, and I'm not sure if that term comes out of times after war, We also have a dish which is called fake rabbit, which is not rabbit. I'm not sure if this is a sign of a shortage after the war and they renamed certain things. I don't know.
And Patos saying Philippe Stern never served his 3940. Could he say the same for a Lange perpetual?
My first Lange perpetual calendar, was it fresh service? One second, let me think about it. I think it was fresh service when I got it, and the second one was also fresh service. So I can't really say.
We've got a real playground scrap going on here, haven't we, between Lange and Patek? It's real good old-fashioned playground scrap. Which is best? And,
I think that's a little bit simplified. I'm just trying to debunk some of the bullet points that are distracting a little bit from what
I see.
we're.
I see.
So Timely, if you listened previously, I said it. The German silver, I think it's called German silver. No, I'm getting confused in the head. The German silver is not silver. As far as I know, it is a combination between copper and nickel. No, copper, zinc, and brass, if I know that correctly. So it is not silver.
Hey, Patel, stop firing those shots, trying to debunk and failing miserably as predicted. Shots fired.
Here,
Stop it.
Bear Clooney was Googling 60% copper, 20 nickel, and 20 zinc. Yeah, I don't know where the name silver comes from because it has a silver shine at the beginning, but then it starts to tarnish.
Bear Clooney watches. It goes name because of the silver color.
Yeah. So
interesting fact.
Yeah, well, most of the Swiss movement are made out of brass, which is gold color, and then they receive a nickel coating.
Sure.
Well, you wouldn't really use silver, would you? I mean, silver unless you coat it with something, it's going to sort of go off within weeks. It's going to turn black, So unless you sort of coat it in some kind of I don't know, varnish or add some plating to it, silver's just shite, isn't it, for a watch?
Well, not only that, I think silver will be too soft to really work on.
It's a machine, yeah, more than that.
So, for example,
it would wear
for
too
base
quickly
plate,
for components.
yeah,
For components, it would wear way too fast.
Yeah. You can't cut gears out of it, and you don't want to have a main plate where the tolerances are hundreds of millimeters, and then this thing bends or squeezes or whatever. So Emil, one second here. Mrs. Lai says, Higgins, it sounds like you not do homework.
You not do homework.
I'm glad that you do, Mrs. Lai. Lange come to market where the best finishing was Geneva seal, and they say we do it a little bit better just for fun. Actually, that is one point, and I'm repeating myself here. It is very interesting, and the market that we're in and why that channel exists. The channel doesn't exist because of the merits of Patek Philippe or Lange or Vacheron. When I started selling watches 40 years ago, it was an easy world because when you wanted to have the best finishing, you bought the Holy Trinity, Patek, Vacheron, and AP. There was no other company that had a better finishing than those three. And the irony is all of it was hidden behind closed case backs. So the only people who could really see and appreciate were watchmakers that opened those watches. And now we are having companies that have an even better finishing than the Holy Trinity. So the entire point of the Holy Trinity, in my opinion, is obsolete. Because now you have Richamil and Gröbel-Fossé and Reshep and everything. So it's a little bit like a similar situation in the car industry. In the 1980s, when you wanted to buy a fancy car, you were buying BMW, Mercedes, and when you had really a lot of money, you were buying a Rolls-Royce or an Aston Martin, and that was it. Yeah, Ferrari probably, or Lamborghini. And now you have those supercars, those hypercars, Koenigsegg and Pagani and everything, all in small quantities, but probably more performance and everything.
That's interesting that you say leads.
So, I don't know. I'm a little bit talked out. I'm a little bit confused now about the comments because Timely now is saying polished through the rhodium. As far as I know, bridges are made out of nickel and or nickel plated, not rhodium plated. But he may be right.
Saying, do you know what are the next steps to make the silicon hairspring even more accurate?
I'm pretty sure they will be able to improve accuracy because that technology is still in baby shoes. To achieve even higher accuracy, I think they also have to work on balance wheels. And from what we learned from Bernhard Lederer is basically that you have to improve the precision, the efficiency in the entire escapement to achieve a higher level of precision. I think that is what he said, that this is the key.
Right.
So it's not only about the silicon hairspring and the sensitivity about differences in temperature and magnetism and gravity. I think the efficiency has to be improved. And from what I learned is the surface in those balance wheels in the toothing, that is one of the keys.
Right. Interesting.
The thing is, if you look at it from 2 points of view, I know we're talking about the use of materials, but if you look at it from maybe 2 points of view, you've got on the one hand, you've got people who like tradition and want to keep things traditional. You've got other people pushing the boundaries of accuracy. The whole reasoning behind clockmaking and finding out, working out what the best timepiece was to get you across the Atlantic for navigation. People were always pushing the boundaries of accuracy of timepieces, and yes, I can understand the two sort of paths of the two roads sitting side. You could be quite happily sat side by side. People who push their technology for accuracy, and people who push for tradition and finish. Like in terms of watch collecting, I can see that there's space for everybody, isn't there?
Totally. And if we wouldn't have a quartz crisis, probably we wouldn't be that sensitive against technological progress. Because the mindset in the 1970s was, okay, this is new technology. This makes our watches more precise. So let's embrace it and go for it. And it almost killed the Swiss watch industry.
If you were just somebody who wanted an accurate watch, would have you cared? It's only probably people like us that care.
Yeah, romantics.
Yeah. Who appreciate some tradition.
Yeah. So CB, you make a good comment about Bethune. He has a special, very light balance wheel. As far as I know, it's also made out of silicon. I know also that many watch companies are working on aerodynamics. So when we're talking about balance wheels, we're talking about aerodynamics. One second, let me see if I can find that that diagram or that. Yeah, one second. Let me show it to you. Okay, present, share screen. Okay, if you notice here on this balance wheel, for example, and this is not unique to Grand Seikos, other companies have that as well. So those they still have regulating screws here, but instead of placing those screws outside on the rim, they have now that little gap, and that has to do with aerodynamics, because those screws outside on the rim are affecting the aerodynamics much more than when they are recessed. Everybody's sound no?
No, I'm looking at the balance wheel. I'm looking
So
chocolate.
what, chocolate?
does it in chocolate?
Okay, so I had prepared my favorite watches of the year, but I think we're now over 2 hours, and I'm totally talked out. So I think it's time to wrap this up, unless someone wants to hop on the panel and take over. Not sure if Tan wants to take over, or
You haven't dropped the link. That's the thing.
I've dropped the link, I think, at the beginning, but I can do that again. So I posted the link here. Tanzil is asking, where's Mr. GMT? That is a good question.
I've just got a little song.
Around, Mr. GMT has been
I've got a
around,
little
hasn't he?
song to play for Mrs. Lai, who's in the chat.
Okay. Do it. Very good. Thank you very much, Thomas. Do you know if that song is composed on an existing piece, or if that's totally AI?
No idea. I just played it AI style.
Yeah, because what I wanted to suggest to Tanzil is to hire a real singer and probably a keyboarder, and just have that done in real life. It may sound better and probably only is a little effort, but I'm not sure where the copyright is for this particular song.
It's not a pop song, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, I think it's very catchy, actually.
Yeah, the violins were very good on that one. The violin sound wasn't very good on that one, so it's came out a bit shoddy. So I'll have to pick a bit of violin sound next time. She's my Japanese girl. Yeah, so that's for you, Mrs. Lai.
Thank you, Thomas. Fantastic customer service. Too bad that we can't accept super chats here. We are not ready. Okay,
Yeah.
with that, I think we will wrap up the discussion. And yeah, thank you very much again, Thomas and Dodger, for joining me in the panel. Thank you very much for asking the questions in the panel. I'm trying to give replies. I don't have infinite replies, particularly when it comes to progress and all those fancy methods of producing items. I personally would love to listen to a discussion maybe between Simon Brett and Bernhard Lederer on that topic, because Bernhard Lederer is very open to do new technology, and Simon Brett sees himself as the preserver of this old tradition, though he's a very young man, and I'm pretty sure with his engineer background, he knows everything that can be done and how it can be done. So it is I think particularly for Simon Brett, it's not easy to find the right replies when it comes to his product.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, with that, we're closing this discussion. Thank you very much again. I'll close the stream now, and thank you very much for all the input in the chat.
Bye-bye, folks.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thumbs up.